Queen Elizabeth's sister Margaret, they are now together, in whichever place people go when they die. The sisters Elizabeth and Margaret, two princesses who weathered the challenges of life as royalty in very different ways. A fascinating, scandalous life, Princess Margaret may appear, at a first glance, to have lived in the shadow of her more famous sister, Queen Elizabeth. However, the Countess of Snowdon led a fascinating, scandalous life. Two sisters, Princess Margaret Rose of Windsor was born in 1930 in Scotland. She was 4 years younger than her sister, Elizabeth. The two were the only children of the then Duke of York and Scottish aristocrat Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. Under the Queen Mother's eye, Elizabeth and Margaret's education was mostly given to them by governesses supervised by the Queen Mother. Later in life, Margaret resented her lack of a more proper, formal education. The abdication crisis, Elizabeth and Margaret's father was second in the line of succession to King George V. However, the abdication of Edward VIII to marry Wallis Simpson, both pictured here, changed their lives forever. His paternal majesty, the Duke of York, became King George VI and Elizabeth became heiress presumptive. Growing apart, the two sisters manifested different personalities as they grew up. While Elizabeth started to take on the responsibilities of being the crown princess, Margaret developed an interest in theater, fashion, and music. Pride and Joy, King George, who passed away in 1952, used to say that Elizabeth was his pride, but Margaret was his joy. The rebel royal, while Queen Elizabeth kept an image of respect and decorum, her sister was held as the poster child of fashionable, aristocratic extravagance. The press at the time dubbed her the Rebel Royal. A Morning Routine for a Princess, a 1955 book, as quoted by Harper's Bazaar, describes Princess Margaret's morning routine as consisting of a 2-hour breakfast, a 1-hour bath, a vodka break at noon, and a 4-course lunch along with half a bottle of wine. Lavish socialite, the princess grew up to become a lavish socialite. Here she can be seen in 1958 with Yves Saint Laurent after a Christian Dior fashion show. Turbulent love, she was also well known for her turbulent romantic life. First came group captain Peter Townsend. However, the royal family was opposed to the union, and the relationship ended in distraught. The Earl of Snowdon, her most famous beau, was probably photographer Anthony Armstrong-Jones, whom she married in 1960. Armstrong-Jones was given the title of Earl of Snowdon shortly after their marriage. Children ever after, the couple had 2 children, David, born in 1961, and Sarah, born in 1964. Artists, intellectuals, bohemians, the two became well known for hosting parties and gatherings attended by artists, intellectuals, and bohemians. Pictured, Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon with Elton John in 1972. Royal affairs, however, the royal couple grew distant, and the two were known to have a series of affairs during this time. Some rumored names linked to Margaret include the musician Mick Jagger, the comedian Peter Sellers, and the actor Warren Beatty. Most of these rumors have been dismissed. No commemorative plate for this royal event. What is true is that tabloid images of the princess with her boyfriend Roddy Llewellyn, pictured in the Caribbean, led to their definite divorce in 1978. She was the first member of the royal family to get a divorce since 1901. Smoke and mirrors, Princess Margaret's health started to decline in the 1980s. A life of chain smoking cost her one of her lungs in 1985. Royal blues, around the same time, she was going through her own personal battle with depression. Declining health, a series of strokes in the 90s left her partially blind and needing the help of a wheelchair. One of her last public appearances was on the 101st birthday of the Queen Mother in August 2001. 2 deaths in the family. Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon, passed away on February 9, 2002. The Queen Mother would pass away 2 months later. Princess Margaret in The Crown. The TV show The Crown has brought revived attention to the figure of Princess Margaret. The young princess was played by Vanessa Kirby. The elder Margaret, in the image, was played by Helena Bonham Carter. Noblesse oblige, the show's portrayal of Margaret begs the question if, instead of resenting living in the shadow of the Queen, maybe the princess was simply affected by having lost her only sibling to the duties of the throne.